Hey day traders, it's Marina, the Trader Chick, and today's big question and simplifying hack, when to trade. What time of the day is the best time to trade? So stick around because I'm going to let you in on exactly the best time to trade. But before we do, subscribe below, hit that notification button because every week I've got a new simplifying day trading hack and tip for you. Okay, so you want to know when to trade. What time of the day is the best time to trade? But before we do that, let's first find out the different sessions that actually exist in the day for you to decide when is the best time to trade. And I'll tell you when I think is the best time to trade. All right, pre-market. What is pre-market? It doesn't matter where you live in the world. There is a time when the market opens and starts to trade, right? Since I am from the US and I mainly trade the US market, obviously everybody knows it's 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. So when is pre-market for that particular time zone? I like to look at it at from 7:30 till about 9:15 in the morning, right? Because 9:15 is when the transition starts to begin and it starts to become a little bit more erratic or more indecisive. So from 7:30 till about 9:15 is a really good time. The thing is with pre-market, you also have to remember there's a lot less people in the market. So when you know that the volatility, the volume is going to be down. So you can't expect it to be moving super quick, right? Because you understand that it's a pre-market. Also, don't forget to look at the high impact news items. Just because it's pre-market does not mean that a high impact news item might not affect it. So remember, 7:30 till about 9:15 in the morning, that's usually around pre-market time. Then the morning session, right? That's when the markets open up. I like to think of the morning session, and actually it's not me, it's pretty much everybody. Morning sessions are usually from 9:30 in the morning until probably around 11:30 a.m. noon, right? Because right before lunchtime. So it's a good 2.5 hours of morning session. Again, don't forget that you have to check the news items because they are really important. That should never be taken out of the equation. So the morning session usually is considered the best time of the day to trade. Why? Because that's when everybody flows in with the most amount of enthusiasm. That's when the volatility is the highest, and we love volatility, especially for day trading. Volatility is a really great way of making it less indecisive, so you go with the flow much more, right? So, and it's also the volume is just there, right? So morning sessions are considered some of the best, okay? So morning session, 9:30 till around 11:30 noon. And then we have lunch. The markets don't close for lunch. It is definitely a session. I think it's usually around 11:30 till around 1:30, right? Depending on who is what and when taking time. But remember, what happens during lunch? A lot of people stop trading. The volatility really goes down. The volume goes down. And overall, during lunch, it's a lot of indecision. What does that mean? It means there's a lot of sideways movement, back and forth. So I definitely don't recommend it as your number one session, but if it's the only time you could trade, there are still some great opportunities, but they might not be as often and as frequent as you would get in the other time sessions. Okay, but lunch is definitely still a session. And afternoon session. This is probably the second and probably tied with the morning session. Why? At this point, you get a whole new group of people coming in sometimes because it could also be from different time zones, right? California, that could be their time to get in. So remember that. And also, a lot of people are just taking off 2 hours, so they're refreshed and they're ready to come back in. Afternoon sessions is usually between 1 till around 3:30 p.m., right? I mean, yes, you could go until 4 p.m., but I call it the amateur hour because that's when everybody is trying to get out, trying to get their losses or gains or whatever. So it could be a little bit chaotic. So the best time is usually between 1:30 and 3:30 p.m. And this is all Eastern that I'm speaking about. And again, don't forget, there can be news items. There could be different committee meetings. So you need to be on top of that just the same. All right, so 1:30 to 3:30, and it's my first or my second or the tie to first place as the best sessions of the day as far as volatility, volume, and movement. But there's more. We've got the night session. That's right, night session, guys. Don't forget, there are a lot of people that trade in the night, but there's not that many people. So what does that mean? It means that the volatility and the volume is really gonna drop, right? Depending on your market, you could have a third of the amount of people that normally would be during the normal hours. So just remember that. And in this case, when you come into the night session, you're prepared, because each trade that maybe during the morning session or the afternoon session was only like 5 minutes could actually take over an hour or more during the night. So as long as you are mentally prepared, you can enjoy the night session as much as you can any other session. So remember that. Now, the real question is, when is the best time for you to trade? It's one thing knowing the best time of movement and volumes, but if you can't do it, then it's obviously not the best time for you. So you decide when is the best time for you. When can you allot stress-free time to sit in front of the market? That is the best time for you to trade, okay? And that's the real question that you should be asking yourself. I'm Marina, the Trader Chick. I want to know, when is your best time? When do you guys normally trade? Leave it down below in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification, because I've got new awesome simplifying day trading hacks and tips for you weekly.